Okay, so to continue on, after that, then me and the guy, we wasn't talking again for some months. And so prior to that, so come 2019, it's getting close to graduating from community college, associate in mathematics. And before that, I actually had an open conversation, being that most vulnerable with my folks about some things they never knew I was going through, that I never used to want to open up with them about until I finally had the courage to be able to do it. It took some prayer, don't get me wrong. And once I did that, then I'm sitting down, I'm just shaking because I'm to myself like, Lord, how this come? Bo gonna go? How are they gonna respond? But I told myself, you got this, girl. God got you, and you got this. So I laid all out on the table and told them why I would come home so depressed, feeling like I don't want to be bothered, don't want to go nowhere, and told them about a few times where I wanted to kill myself, and they was just all in bed shock. And then after that, then we start having conversations back and forth about other things about, and why do you always feel like you want to let your hair be a certain way, or want to have these different colors, and what do these talks be about? You think you probably bisexual. It's all about and everything, in which I'm just trying to let them know in the atmosphere openly, in the end of the day, it's my decision, it's my choices I make. It doesn't affect y'all by no means. That only can affect me, for the fact that I'm making the decisions. And to me, sometimes it will be hard for them to hear, because of the fact that, they know I'm nothing like the average females are out here. I'm not out on the streets selling no drugs, no gang bang, none of that. So they already kind of figured that's why my vibe was feeling off whenever they be like, so why do you feel like you want to be doing these other things? But then again, to my thing to them, ain't nothing wrong with me wanting to have my hair color looking a certain way or so. Like, that just made me who I am. Like, I always feel like I'm trying to please everybody, but whenever am I gonna start pleasing myself at some point? And in the end, it's like God's the only one we should be pleasing, if anything. You can't please earthly things and God. And that's known facts. But anyway, after the mean, so everybody gave me a hug, gave me their input, and told me they still love me regardless, but to just keep making better decisions. And after that, I kind of felt a bit of relief from it, knowing that I finally let all them emotions out that I used to keep building up and let ball up in me. So after that, I started to feel more relief, to a point where I would just start blatantly telling them from there for how I feel and what's going on in my head. But after that, okay, so a month comes on, graduation come, cum laude, associate degree in mathematics, accomplishment. So after that, a couple of weeks later, I end up getting on this app called Tag, and I end up meeting some people on there. Now, no, this app was definitely more than a dating app. It's more like business too, where if you collect some coins and you get up to a certain amount, you can actually get money from doing that. But see, my goal wasn't about making money. It was just about finding people to conversate with, since I'm not really a sociable person anyway. So once I get on there, at first I come across a few people lives, and at first I'm like, okay, it's kind of sounding like the rest of the app, so I may not be on here long, but I end up running across some people that were actually giving all good vibes. So I just kept on going in their live. Then eventually I came across this one particular person live that stood out to me the most. I'm not gonna say the name, but her the vibe was very interesting. So as we conversing, then I'm just giving them compliments like, oh, you just so handsome and fine, and I read your bio, and you actually are a beautiful baby daddy, and I'm sure the baby mom is lucky. And then she was like, hold up, what makes you think I'm a dude? And I'm like, you look like one, you talk like one, and your profile even got you down for a male. And she like, well, baby, I hate to break the news, but I'm definitely not no dude by no means. I may look like one, but I'm really a woman. I'm a stud. And then I'm to myself like, Lord, please tell me you playing around with me. Because this is not one of the moments to be joking on something that according to the Bible says Adam and Eve, not Eve and Savina or Steve and Jerry, whomever. And then she was like, no, I'm for real, girl. Like, what made you think? And I was to myself, like, okay, let me just come back to your live another time, girl, because I'm confused. So I get out the live and I'm just meditating to myself, like, Lord, I know I told you I may have a thing for women, but I ain't think you actually trying to test me on it. And I know you say this is not the way we supposed to live. And according to Eve and my background and how I grew up, it's supposed to be just man and woman. So I was contemplating on it all night. And eventually I came to my own realization that it shouldn't matter what she is. If I'm vibing well with you, that's all it should matter, regardless of your sexuality, regardless of what you are. So afterwards, me and her, we would chit chat from time to time. Her live would be the live I'd be in most of the time. And then a couple of months later, it was time for me to start at 4-year university. And note, y'all, at the time I was still going through emotion where it's like I was just getting over having a whole open discussion with my folks about my depression and suicidal thoughts, to the point it's like being on the app kind of made me feel like I ain't even want to start back school no more, to the point it was like, what should I do? And the fact that I was starting to also feel like school was also beginning to seem a bit stressful for me too. So I'm to myself like, Lord, what should I do? I need answers. What should I do? I'm confused. Like, I'm so stressed over school. Yeah, I don't want my folks to think I'm trying to drop out, even though deep down it's tearing me up to still even be doing in the school, because I never cared for school, no way. And then afterwards, when I had started school, it's like, whew, I'm gonna need therapy. So I ended up signing up for therapy. And I was in therapy for about 8 months. I didn't tell nobody except my mom and sister. They were the only two people that knew I was taking therapy. Like, I would try to take therapy sessions before class or when I had time to take it. And then it would be about 45 minutes. And it was all good, but at the same time, to me, it's like, you'll say it come to times where I may really need you to discuss more things that kind of made me feel like as though I couldn't get more that time I need in just 45 minutes, all because you tell me I gotta pay for. So it's like, no, after 8 months I just stopped going. But it was helpful in some ways. Like, the lady was giving me some insight to let me know, always stay occupied, don't ever think the worst, because if you do, it becomes your actions. And always keep yourself focused, and just remember that the sun don't always shine, to basically summarize it all up. So anyhow, as I was taking classes about the time period, I was going for about 5 months, and within them 5 months, I got off track with my studies and everything. I'm talking about I would get up on that app like nonstop, just on there scrolling, trying to be up in them women's lives, cheer chatting with them when I know I was supposed to be listening, doing my work. And then there'll be some days I would come to class drunk. Yes, Lord. Real drunk. And sometimes I'll even get on there and be watching videos I know I had no business watching in class. And how about toward the very end of the year, I end up failing 2 of my classes. About to been on the verge of 3. And then, like, with the rest of them, I had like a C and D. They consider still passing, but just wouldn't be what you say passing, to be on principal or dean's list. So anywho, once I got them grades, and of course I'm just already thinking to myself, Lord, where's my folks about to ask me? Because of the fact that I haven't even been on academic probation before in my years prior to college. Now, no, I ain't made grades like that in a good minute. I ain't had bad grades like that in a good minute. But it was just more so the fact to me knowing that, okay, they seen in community college, I was on mostly principal and dean's list. And now here she comes showing us now she on academic probation. So when I end up showing it to all, then of course my auntie give me a call and she like, hey, what's going on with your grades? Like, was the classes hard, or why you ain't telling us that, these classes may stress you, or if you probably just want a different major or something, you should just say that openly. And then I'm to her like, yeah, but right now ain't the time for me to be talking about this because I'm not even in the mood to want to talk. She like, girl, is there something else really going on? You ain't there discussing. I'm to her like, it ain't nothing like that. I just, like, I ain't want to let her know what the real reason was why I failed them. But I just told her, hey, it is what it is, and just hung up. And how about at just the right moment, that's when my mom had asked me about a couple of weeks later that I want to go to the beach with them at the time, which I'm like, sure, I'm down. And when we had went there, I had a great time. Like, it really brought a calmness and serenity to my peace that I didn't even know I really needed. And after that, I was sort of like, I really appreciate this trip. It was definitely well needed to release some of that stress off me, to which she herself was like, I already knew from even what you told us before at that family meeting. I already kind of knew what you low-key did need. And after that, then when I get back home, it's like, Lord, I don't even want to be here at the moment. It's like I never wanted to be home. It's though like being home always gives me the worst of thoughts and anxiety. So then after that, come 2020, some months down the line, I end up taking a couple more classes because I'm trying to get back up off academic probation. And so I got up a little bit, but not as much, because to this day I'm still on academic probation. I haven't been back in school in about 4 or 5 years, and I had to eventually pay off my loan too that I had pulled out when I first started. It took a minute, but eventually I had to come to my senses. This is what I work for now, to handle responsibility. So I just went ahead on and paid it on off so it could stop coming to my mind and overthinking of it. So anywho, back to this. So come 2020, I got a job around July. The first job I ever got. And so I'm just thinking to myself like, ooh, what am I about to do with this job now? This is the first time I actually about to have experience of a job. And at the time, it was me about to do EVS temp, meaning I was about to be doing housekeeping up at the hospital. So once I had started there, when I first started there, I could kind of already feel it was about to be a whole bunch of stuff going on, because I'm telling y'all, every time they page me for a discharge room, every few hours, it's like, dang, I just got out of one. And then from the people that would be training you, telling you all these specific ways you got to clean and everything, was just so much. I mean, I'm like, especially the fact of working up in the hospital where it's always going to be fluids. You going to be, and then from how sometimes some of them rooms will be nastier than I don't know what. I only lasted doing that for about 5 months. That was nice, and especially the fact that they wasn't giving me no holiday pay either for doing, but they said though, if you a temp, temps don't get paid for working holidays. It's like if you work it, you just work it. To which I'm just to myself like, okay, well, I don't want to be doing none of this then if we don't get none of that. So, fast forward. Wait, no. I kind of overskipped something the more I think of it. Before I was even doing the temp, though, it was like a month before where another one of my aunts had passed. Rest in peace to her soul. And then after that, then once I had got a temp job, I'm to myself like, Lord, this definitely gotta be a way of you letting me know you about to start on a new path, baby girl. Because we ain't about to let another death of a family get you down. Because it was always, when death occurred in my family, it always brought me back down. To the point where to this day on, I'm still learning to accept it. Because it's going to happen to all of us one day. It ain't no getting around. It's just when it's your time, it's your time. Like we always say, you believe in him, it's nothing to worry. And so anyhow, so then after that, then about a couple of weeks after I had started the job, I ended up coming across what was going to be a recipe of disaster for me. So, note to y'all, at the time, I had to walk to go get some money out of my bank. So, the walk was about good 45 minutes a walk from my job to the bank. It was a 45-minute walk. And note to y'all, it's about nearly 150 degrees outside. And I know I only had an hour of break. Yes, that's how crazy and dumb I really could be at times. So as I'm walking, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be so late coming back, but same time I needed the money, so I just end up walking anyway. Didn't even want to ask nobody to even give me a little lift. I just said, no, I'm going to use my legs and get it done. And then I end up coming back. I end up stopping at Burger King. So as I walk in there trying to wait to order, next thing I know, this one particular girl walks up in me in the landscaping truck. And so when she walked in, first she saw to me like, hey. And I'm just looking around, and I'm to myself like she got been talking to somebody else. So I'm minding my business again. Next thing I know, she says again, hey. So I'm looking at her, I'm like, is you saying that to me? And she like, who else am I talking to? I'm like, you could have been talking to somebody behind the cash register or anybody behind me. She like, oh, you got jokes, I see. And I'm like, no, I'm for real, baby. And she like, but what's up with you? I'm like, what you mean, what's up with me? She like, I mean, are you into girls? And I'm like, I guess I am. She like, you guess or you know you are. I'm like, I'm guessing I'm just into more like the intimacy I can have with a woman. And she like, that's it? You ain't interested in getting to know a woman or anything? I'm like, no, I just care about the intimacy. Lust. Deadly sin. It's a very deadly weapon, I'm telling y'all. That's why Trey Songz even made that song, Sex Ain't Better Than Love. So then, after that, the girl all to me like, well, if that's all you interested in, we could link up sometime soon. I'm like, how about tomorrow since I'll be off? And she like, I bet you better not be playing no games. So I'm like, I don't play no games, baby. That's the last thing you can expect from me. If anything, I play the lotto. She like, ooh, so you smooth with it. I'm like, yeah, so we gonna see if your lotto is even worth it for me. So after that, the next day come, and I'm hitting her up like, when you gonna come get me? I had to lie to my folks and tell them that you my friend so they don't get all suspicious, because I know they would have been asking me many questions about who you are and where you from and everything. And she was like, oh, you really bold like that. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't like them being in my business no way. So she all like, okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe perhaps me and you should just link on up every time. I'm like, it's fine with me. So it took her about almost 5.5 hours to finally come get me. And then when she finally called me up saying she probably was going to come, I'm like, you could be and already told me that then I could just wait another time. She like, no, I'ma still come. It's just I need money. I'm like, girl, you work, don't you? You can get money. Yeah, but I still didn't want to use my card for. I'm like, okay, whatever that means, I don't know. She like, I'm coming though, girl. I'm like, well, hurry up before I change my mind. So about another hour or so later, she finally comes, and I'm all to myself like, it's about time, boo. You act like you was gonna take a whole car go somewhere. She like, oh, girl. So then as my granny walk up to the door, and she looking at her all suspicious already, like. And then I'm to her like, I'll talk to y'all later. So then as we head on to a crib, and she asked me like, so are you sure it's only intimacy about a woman you care? It's like it's nothing else you really care about? And I was to her like, baby girl, listen. From 4th grade, a girl took me from the restroom, put me on the wall, and kissed me down like I was her woman. And that was about the only thing that ever made me curious about what a woman can do to me. And she like, oh, so you have flashback. And I was to her like, yeah, and at the time it didn't mean it, because It just made me feel as a kid, you gonna do anything, but some stuff come back to your mind for a reason. I'm telling you. And so after that, she was like, well, let me shower real quick and I'll be right on now. And we gon' see exactly how much of intimacy I can really give you, which I'm to myself, we gon' see about that. So after she hop out the shower, eventually, as we start our conversating, and then next thing you know, a few minutes later, y'all already know. So anywho, after that, then she had dropped me on back home and told me we can link up again. So after that, we started back chatting and we would conversate for about a month. And within the week before we stopped chatting for a minute, she was all to me like, so, you know, when I told you a couple times before where I do have a fiance, but same time we ain't what you say on good terms, but I told you you may be the one. And I was like, yeah, and I didn't believe you when you said you, because you always talking a bunch of bullshit anyway. And she like, well, I feel like you still wasn't paying attention to me when I told you, as though like I'm playing games. And I told her, you already sound like you play games anyway. And she like, but you still talking to me though, right? I'm like, well, you the only person that gave me the best of fun I've ever had. And she like, see, that's your big problem right there. You only be so worried about what a person can give you and not what they can do for you. And that's probably why you don't have a relationship, which I'm to like, girl, I can get any man and woman I want. And she like, no, I'm just saying though, like, do you not think that lust at some point can lead on to other things? Which I also like, girl, please, lust is about the best thing a person could ever imagine in their life. It speaks to the soul. And she like, girl, you are funny, but same time you was something else real. Which I was like, in a way, what's up? And then after that, she was like, ask your folks, can you come spend the night? And I'm to her like, no, you did not just ask me that. And then I was sort of like, girl, why would I ask them that when they don't even know you would know? She like, just ask them. You always talking about you grown, but yeah, you don't even know how to do grown things. Which I was like, don't you ever underestimate what I'm capable of. So after that, I went in the den and I'm sitting down as my aunties are sitting on the other side. And I'm asking my granny, hey, can I come spend the night with my friend? And then she just looked at me. She like, we'll talk about later. So I walk back in the room and I'm texting her. I'm like, she ain't respond yet to me. She just looked at me. She like, ask her again or just tell her you coming. So I walk back in there this time boldly into her like, it's either a yes or a no. Can I spend the night with her or can I not? And then she was to me like, go to the back. I want to talk to you real quick. So as I walk back in the room and I'm sitting down, we just arguing back and forth. She like, first of all, I told you this before, you don't go nowhere. You barely talk to people. So what do you really know about what this girl is even capable of doing to you? And I told you so many times, you had people that hated on you all your life. A lot of them out here are really jealous of what you have. And you ain't even going through half of what majority of them are out here going through. In which I'm just sort of like, but see, that's the thing of it though. Y'all gotta start learning to put more trust in me. I know I don't go out and I'm just talking all in my baby voice, so I'm trying to get her to seem convinced. And next thing I know, both my aunties come back there and one of them just already with, what was y'all talking about and what did she do to you when you went over there? Because I already knew she did something to you that night when y'all went. She came and got you. I kind of felt she did something to you. To which I'm just all to them like, so what? If I do like women, now what? What y'all gonna do about it? I'm grown. And then they like, no. What we trying to tell you though is, you barely even know who this girl is. We never even seen her. We never even heard of her. But do you really want us to have to go to jail again for somebody trying to hurt you again? To which it just had me bringing tears to my eyes. I'm to myself like, Lord, why do they act like they care this much? Like, why are they always trying to save me? I can't be saved forever. To the point where it's just started making me feel as though like, at this point, nobody seems to give a damn at all about how I feel. That's why I always been on the verge of killing myself because nobody listens to me. And then they was all like, listen, girl, we ain't telling you that you can't like women if that's your preference, but same time we want you to be careful out here because you don't even know what type of disease, STDs, and how do we even know what she has for you to want to just be up and talking about, you want to just go hang with her and don't know nothing, and then I just end up blurring out, letting them know she don't know what I did either, and I just let it be known to him, or some dude I used to go to school with, I used to walk to his house all the time and do a little quickie, and they was like, see, that's what we be talking about. You do stuff behind our backs that we don't know about, and then when we ask you about, then all of a sudden you ain't got nothing to say. To which I was to him like, okay, and what though? It's my life. I ain't got to tell y'all everything that I don't. And they like, but you say you grown, right? A grown person does what a grown person is supposed to do. Not the things you do, but doing what they should be doing. You tell us all the time, you grown and you can make your own decisions. But when it comes down to certain things you do, your mind, it don't be clicking. To which I was to myself like, okay, so now all of a sudden I'm stupid. I'm dumb, I'm stupid. What else am I going to be the out? And then after that, they pretty much was like, well, we love you. And wherever you choose to do, it's on you. But at the same time, just don't be a dummy all your life either. Learn to think for yourself sometime. Then they're down just like, yeah. And I end up slamming the door on all of them. Now to myself, like, Lord, if I gotta find a way to get from this house to get to her, I will. This is gonna be the example of why you watch what you say too. And after that, then my granny came back in and she was like, hey, we love you and we know that you want to be out here having fun, but you still gotta be careful and watch people. Because you don't know your intention. I'm just like, yeah, I know. And told her I love you. I don't really want to go. Just trying to make her hear what I know she wanted to hear. I didn't want to go with her. And after that, she just closed the door. And after that, and I'm like, she always on that like she cares so much about me. And really don't. Then after that, after I text the girl again, she like, see, I told you such a dummy. You let everybody think for you rather than think so. Then after that, I just blocked her. And then after that, within the months of between me working before I start resigning, she would be hitting me up on unknown and private numbers like, why did you block me? Why could you not have just told me what your folks stalling me? Why you could never own up and speak and tell them that you have your own life to live and that they can't tell you how to live your life? And I'm just sort of like, look, let's not even go there right now about what they think of right now. I don't even know what to think of you myself. And she like, the reason you don't, because you allow your folks to think for you. To where even my mom, after, of course, having that conversation with my aunties and them the next day, we end up going somewhere. And then she had told me stuff like, don't ever tell yourself you over somebody just because of what another person tell you, whether it's family, her, anybody. Only you can tell yourself when you over somebody. Nobody else can tell you that. To which I'm to myself like, it sound good what she's saying, but I don't know. And then after that, like I said, some months down the line, the girl would be hitting me up, different numbers, sometimes even making fake Facebook profiles too. And at some point, I could eventually catch on to the fact too that it was her. And then, like toward the end of December, me and her had an encounter one time to where I told her, alright, I'll try to give you a little opportunity to tell me what it is you want. Then after that, she ended up calling me up talking about, hey, can I borrow some money? Now she was like, see, you still on that same can I have money crap, and I just blocked her. Now here it comes 2021. This is where again the be careful what you ask for comes in. So around about April, Me and her, I eventually picked up the phone and had an actual conversation with her, and she was like, so again, you still ain't never gave me no better reason as to why you stopped talking to me, why you stopped picking up my calls, like what was really going on, why was you still allowing people to put in your head that me and you shouldn't be together. And I'm to her like, I guess because I don't love myself enough to make my own decision. She like, girl, that's actually sad. You should always love who you are and know whatever choices you make, it's only a part of what you make. Nobody else can make them for her. Which I was like, okay, can we stop trying to be so vulnerable about it? And she like, see, that's your problem. You gotta learn to be more vulnerable with yourself. Which I was like, well, to me, vulnerable is for the weak. I let it be out in the atmosphere to her. Being vulnerable is for the weak-minded. And she was like, girl, you got so much more to learn. And so then after that, we started cheer-chatting. She was like, can we just at least link up one more time so you can see if I change? Because it's only been about 6 or 7 months we stopped talking. I was sort of like, I don't know, you gonna have to show me more than just tell me. She like, oh baby, I can show you. And I was like, I bet, let's see. So then eventually me and her eventually started linking up after like the time where me and my homie was getting ready to head to the bar one night. Like, we got there so late because it was so late at night when that call asked him, hey, you want to go to the bar? Because I think earlier that day he texted me trying to see what I was up to. Now so I'm like, nothing, chilling, trying to just think of if I may want another job or not, since I had stopped at the job I was working at before. He was like, I'll be so glad when you do get another one. I told me to. So then after that, when he had came, then my grand like, where y'all about to go? It's so late at night. So we going to the bar. And she like, don't get too drunk. And I'm to myself like, baby, I'm about to turn up. So once I get in the car and I'm just trying to let him know, hey, you know my folks don't know I'm back talking to this girl again. And he all like, oh, talking about the one you always told me. I told him, yeah, she trying to tell me she wanted to link back up to see if she changed or not. And he was like, do you think she changed? And I told him I hope she has, because I do give people second chances to try to prove they self otherwise. And he was like, oh, well, just still be careful. And I told him, oh yeah, of course. But then he was all like, well, I'm kind of glad you did want to come to the bar, because I myself was having something going. And I told him, it's like anytime me and him feel down, both of our solution always seem to be just go to the bar. He could call me up, hey, I'm tired. You want to go to the bar? Hey, I just got into it with somebody and I'm stressed. Want to go to the bar? Like, that was always my answer to just about anything. Let's just go to the bar, the bar, the bar, the bar, and have a drink. That's just how much bad I had with the liquor at the time. And so once we get there, then next thing you know, she started calling me up, asking me where we at, and I gave her the location. And eventually she pulled up and I had hopped in the car and we just sitting down chatting, and then we just talking about how each other been and why I had stopped talking to her. And then she was like, do you think your friend gonna get mad if I take you home with me and then bring you back? And I told her, yes, he would, because first of all, me and him came together, not me and she like, he probably ain't going. I told her, I don't care. I came with him, not with you. That was a red flag. That was a red flag. And then I was sort of like, just come in the bar. I want you to meet him. So eventually she agreed and she got out of the car. And as they were chatting, I was sort of like, see, I think you would get along just fine having me and him around you, not just me. And when she was like, yeah, I guess. Then after that, eventually, when we had left the bar, I didn't see her nowhere around. So then I asked him, I'm like, where did she go? She was supposed to still be here. He said, yeah, I could have sworn she said she was coming back, but she never did. So I was to him like, don't worry, I'm going to handle that when I get to the house. So once we get back to the house finally and I hear her, I'm like, why is she leaving? Excuse me. and didn't tell nobody. And she was like, girl, you left me trying to be up there dancing with them dancers and not even talking with me. And I told her, I brought you in there to have a good night. She like, well, I would rather it being just me and you. Like, your friends seem cool, but I just ain't comfy. And I was to him like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this because my folks can't never know that I'm bad talking. He was like, well, how about maybe one day I can just drop you off somewhere and then, she can bring you back, or I can come and pick you up. And I was to him like, you would really do that though? Like, I don't want you getting caught up in my mess. And he was like, oh no, if it's something you want to do, if you want to talk back to her, then that's on you. And then I was to him like, okay, well, how about the next week? You drop me off at the park, she pick me up, and we go somewhere, and then I give you her address to come pick me back up. And he was like, cool. So then the next week come, and then I end up texting her and told her, hey, we can meet up at the park. He gon' drop me off by there. You can come pick me up and then give me your address and he can come pick me up. And she was like, I bet. So then I tell my folks, hey, me and him going off somewhere. I'll see y'all later. And they like, be careful. So after that, I told him, hey, let's just sit at the park and wait for her. And when she come, then I'll make sure I tell her to send the address. And I told him I'm going to keep my cards in here so she can't ask me for no money. He's like, you gonna keep them both in here? And I told him, you know what, I'll put one in and keep the other one in case if I need stuff. I told him, just keep the other one in here with you so she can't even have access. So after that, when she finally do come, and he was like, okay, I'll see y'all later, just call me. I told him, I bet. So as she picked me up, she like, girl, you don't know how glad I really am that now it's just me and you again. And I'm too like, don't have your hopes up too much. I was just trying to see if your vibe is different now. She like, of course it's different now, girl. We ain't talked in some months, so it should be different. I told her that don't mean nothing though, because your vibes could still somehow be the same even within 9 or 10 months. And she like, well, you just gotta give people a chance. And I told her, I'm in the car with you, right? So then as we getting back to her crib, and then she go ask me, hey, do you mind giving me about $200 or $300? And I told her, like, see, what did I tell you about asking me for money? She like, girl, do you trust me or not? Like, I'm gonna need for you to start learning to trust me more. And so I was sort of like, yeah, I trust you, but I'm just saying though, do you not remember when I told you last time, if we link back up again, you can't be asking me for money like you? She like, but still, do you trust me? If you trust me, you should already know by now I'll give it back to you, and I'm not trying to push you in no jeopardy. Until I also like, I bet. So then we end up going to one of the ATM machines, and so after that I told her, let me withdraw this money for you quick. And I told her, don't ask me for another round. Then she was like, can you probably deposit another round for me too? And I was like, you just always gotta be so difficult. So I end up getting another 200 out. And then I told her, don't try to get it all here because I'm gonna need some to go out to the store. And then after that, she was like, why did you stop talking to me for real? And I told her, girl, you know how my folks are about people I hang with. She like, see, here you go again. Your folks this, your folks that. When is you gonna start telling them that you can make your own decision? I'm to like, okay, let's not keep going about what decisions I'm not making. She like, I'm just saying though, girl, your folks can't always tell you. Like, if they told you to jump off a bridge, you gonna do that too. So after I was sort of like, so what made you really want to get back talking to me? She like, cause girl, I feel like you wasn't being reasonable with me about why you stopped talking to me and why you allowed your folks to tell you to stop talking to me, like as though you ain't grown. Like, I feel they just mad at the fact that you were a woman and not a man, but in the end you can't let their decisions determine your decision. So I'm to her like, yeah, but what's all of us mean, baby? And she like, you gonna see. So after that, we went back to her crib for a little. She gave me a blunt. We hit it. We was drinking. Then after that, she was like, I don't give everybody my address. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need your address because when my homie need to come pick me up, I'm going to need so he can know she never gave it to me. And then going to tell me, I can just take you to the store that's by my house and then drop you back off home. And I told her no, because my folks ain't going to see you with me. And she like, okay, and can we stop thinking about what your folks saying? Just think of what you want to do. So after that, I was sort of like, I bet. And so then after that, I told her, well, no, still bring me to that other Walmart so my homie can bring me back. So like I told her, I spent enough time with you now. Let me get back to him. She like, all right, that's on you. So as we pull up out of the Walmart, and this thing I know I had to run outside real quick and pee real quick. Then, then after that, then she was like, hey girl, I can sit here and wait on you. And I told her, no, go on ahead. I'll wait for him. And she's like, I bet. So no, once I was looking in my wallet trying to find a little money, no, I couldn't find none of it. And so then I ended up calling her. I'm like, hey, where you at? And she like, oh girl, I'm already on the highway and you think I'm about to come back around. I can't do that. And I'm to her like, all right, whatever, and just hung up. And when he had finally pulled up and he was like, where's she at? And I told her to go, but I see she took all my money I deposited to that. I told her don't take it all. And he was like, so she was trying to steal you. And I told him, it's all good, I'm not worried. Then after that, then the next day she hit me up. She like, hey, my friend wanted to talk to you. She said she interested in you and she wanted to really ask you some stuff. And I told her, well, your friend gonna have to come and see me. And she's like, I bet I can get her to see you. So after that, then I'm to her like, okay, well, we gonna have to see what she really all about. She like, girl, she want to do a whole threesome, which I was like, I never had one of those before, but I'm definitely curious. And she like, well, she curious about you too. So after that, now so we're like, how about we just wait till another week? And she like, how about next week? And I was like, all right. And then after that, then I end up hitting my homie up and I told him, hey, she want me to meet up with her and her friend next week, so I'm gonna do that. And he was like, okay, cool. So the next week come and then I just hit her up and I'm like, I'll see y'all about 5 or 6. She like, why you can't just walk to the park by yourself so we can? I told her, girl, no, because that's going to be too suspicious to my folks. And they'll automatically know I'm back talking with you if I do that. And she like, girl, they wouldn't even have a clue whom you with around them time, especially if you say you be walking around so long like that anyway. So I was sort of like, well, let's still play it off safely. And so she was like, all right, whatever. Then after that, then I texted my homie and told him what time to come get me. And so he came a little after 5 and we come to the park and we waiting for this girl hours and hours. And I'm to her like, girl, if you don't hurry up, we gonna have to wait another time. And she like, no, girl, I'm gonna be there in a minute. But that's why I told you should just roll with us, because she could be in had. We could both be in had. So I'm to her like, well, just hurry up because he getting tired and I'm tired. So then after that, we end up going just back to his house, and she ended up coming close enough to midnight. And I'm to her like, girl, where are you? And she like, girl, I'm about to pull up now at the park. And told her, no, you won't have to pull up to his house because we've been waiting hours for it. So then I got his address and I sent it to her, and then she pulled around. So I get in the car with her and I told him, I'll see you later. So after that, then I get in the car and she asking me stuff like, why you ain't just come with us? Your folks wouldn't have been able to know. And I told her, yes, they would. Because they would have known. Ain't no way she would have been gone hours like that. So after that, we get to her crib. She take my phone from me and she take my glass. And she told me, you ain't gonna need these for the next few days. I didn't know what she meant at the time. So I was all to her like, okay, whatever. And after that, she gave me some weed. She gave me some liquor. And that day, it's like I had more of the weed and liquor than she did. And she kept giving it to me over and over. And so after that, she like, I'm going to need both of your bank cards because I'm going to need some gas in my tank. I told her, you got money. Fill up your own tank with your own money. She like, no, I'm for real. So I'm like, don't take too much off of it. So she grabs one of them. We end up going to the gas station. She told me, I'll be back. So then she grabs it. So then I try to hop in the driver's seat and notes, yeah, I'm already drunk and high. So I call myself trying to be swerving around the gas station. Next thing you know, she comes back out. I put the car in reverse. And next thing you know, I reverse back so fast I almost hit a gas tank. And then after that, she was like, girl, I'm not ever leaving you in the car drunk like that again. So she snatched the keys and then she all to me like, so do you want to go back home or do you want to just get food? And I told her, let's get food, then take me back home. And so we go get food, and she told me this card probably overdraft. And I told her it better not be. After I told you don't take too much off of it, she like, girl, it probably is. And I told her when we get to the house, if it is, it's your ass. So once we go get some food, we head back to the house, and I told her, okay, give me your address, because it's getting so late. My homie need to come pick me up. She like, girl, just relax. And so after that, then I'm to her like, I'm for real, for real. So I end up I told her, get my phone back. Let me check to see. And so I go on there, and I'm looking on my bank account, and I saw what looked like negative. I couldn't tell because, again, I'm too high and drunk. But I told her, girl, this better not be overdrafted. And she like, girl, chill out. So then after that, then the next couple of hours, I end up calling my granny and told her, hey, I'm at my homeboy house spending the night. She like, that discernment, that spirit, it was in her. So then after that, she was pretty much like, girl, why you always worried about what people have to tell you? You always worry about the wrong stuff. Then afterwards, and I told her, well, you know what? I'm going to show you what you've been missing out. And so I end up getting so mad because I'm already too high and drunk to the point them two don't miss. I went to beating the girl up so bad, told her, and this will teach you to never ever leave me like that again. Then she was like, stop. She had to grab both my hands and threw me on the bed. And she like, go to sleep. And no, T.I., I ain't getting no hours of sleep because we was up arguing all night with no sleeping. I ain't even know how something like that could happen where you so drunk and high to a point you ain't even sleeping, but you just up all night arguing back and forth with somebody you never thought you would get right back with. And so after that, then I end up telling her I gotta go back to my friend's house because it's already suspicion. Then my granddad called. He like, hey, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm alright. And he like, oh, okay, I was just making sure. So after that, pretty much, I get to my friend's house and I tell him, hey, don't tell none of them nothing about me and her. We about to go out somewhere, do things, but don't say that. He was like, I got you. But I told him, but do take me by the house real quick because I gotta go get something. So he take me back around there, and then I see my granny looking already suspicious. Like, yeah, I told her, I'll explain everything later. She like, then she walked back out to the house and she walked up to the truck. Looked like she trying to ask my friend what's going on, but I could see the look on his face like, I promised her I wouldn't say nothing, so I'm not going to say nothing. So after that, I get back in the car and told her, I'll see y'all later. So then I get back around the house, and then the girl over there waiting, so I get right back in the car with her, and then we go out somewhere. And the next thing I know, my mom end up calling me some hours later, wondering like, hey, where you at? And I was sort of like, oh, I'm just with my friend, we doing something. So after that, I asked her about $100, can I borrow? And she like, okay, and asked me, are you sure you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then after that, I could even feel her spirit of discernment. And then after that, some hours later, me and the girl, we about to get back to the house, and close enough, my mom called me back in. She like, hey, where are you? I'm like, I'm at my friend's house. I already told you that. She like, you is not at your friend's house, and don't lie to me, because I know you scared of dogs. And I'm to the girl like, shh, why you got the car up so loud? She like, girl, the car gonna start anyway. What you talking about? Now to my mom like, on the phone, just shake. I'm like, I'm sorry I lied to you. I'm really with the girl. She like, listen, I've been in you and your brother and sister's shoes before. If it's somebody you ain't supposed to be with in the first place, either you need to stop talking to them or you need to be truthful with yourself. It's nothing you gotta lie, but you don't ever gotta lie about your whereabouts. Too much happened in this world to not even let somebody know where you at and whom you with. So you gonna have to start learning to talk to my mom and dad about whatever you doing and whom you with. And I was like, okay, I apologize. And then I hung up, and the girl like, why you start shaking and talking like that, girl? Like, you really act more like a kid than you do of a grown adult like that. And I'm to her like, hey, let's not worry about this and that. So I'm shaking more. Then next thing I know, my sister called me sometime later. And then next thing you know, me and her just going back and forth. And after that, I hung the phone up on her. And then after that, the girl like, stop worrying about what they saying anyway, and told me, tomorrow we gonna go to a hotel because we need to get a getaway. And I told her, I bet that sound cool. And so then she was like, okay, bet we gonna get us a hotel that's only 30 minutes from us. And notes, yeah, I kind of already forgot I was supposed to be meeting with my friend going to see his mom for Mother's Day. So the next very day, she like, hey, you still ain't getting these glasses and phone. And I told her, you gonna have to give them back at some point because I'm gonna need to see. And then she even told me, and I took your card this morning while you was asleep because I need. And I'm like, how did you even get a hold of my card? And she like, remember, you did give me your pen and stuff before. One of the biggest mistakes I made too. Giving her that pen access to both of my cards. And she like, I only withdrew a little money on it. Ain't too much. I just needed some for gas. And I told her, how was you? And she like, well, girl, remember, you was the one high intoxicated. So after that, we end up getting up early. And as we getting ready to head on the road, and that's, she getting on the road that's heading to Atlanta. And I'm to like, girl, this ain't us going 30 minutes to where we was supposed to go. This is heading out to Atlanta. She like, yeah, I lied to you so you wouldn't be acting all nervous and jittery about it. And I'm like, you could just told me. And she like, no, because if I would have told you, you would have been freaking out like you been doing lately. And I was like, whatever. And so the whole while we riding, I'm just arguing back and forth like, why would I let you trick me like this? Why did I not listen to my family? And why am I still talking? She like, first of all, girl, you put yourself in the predicament from day one when you lied to them about whom I am to you. And the fact you didn't believe me when I told you I do have a fiance. And I'm like, you talk too much shit. I didn't even know what to believe. And she like, well, that's still on you for the fact you didn't believe me. So I'm just to her like, well, at the same time, we both did dirt. So as we get closer to Atlanta, then next thing you know, we already arguing as we getting ready to come up to the hotel room. And we had to end up going to another room because the air wasn't even working. Then after that, then we just arguing back and forth. And then by the time we went somewhere to go get some food, then we trying to see what all open down there. And then looked like it was really nothing down there open at the time. So we end up coming back to the hotel. But next thing you know, boy, I tell y'all, this girl, the moment we sit down, I'm trying to eat my food, she go asking me, hey, what'd you do to my lips? I'm like, I ain't do nothing. She like, no, I'm talking about the other night. What did you do to my lips? Why they burned? I'm like, girl, you overreacting. She like, no, what did you do to my lip? And I had just made up a lie and told her I licked them. So why would you lie? And I'm like, shut up talking to me. And then she get up in my face. I'm like, girl, get out of my face. And she like, no, but why did you lie? And I took my hand and I just slapped her. And next thing you know, she dragged me right off from the chair. My food dropped. We started fighting in the hotel. From her just punching me in my nose, punching me in my face, and then she slung me on the bed, and then she trying to put a whole pressure and weight on me on my side to a point I had to hurry up and toss over. And then I got up, and then I ended off with slapping her one more time and then kicked her in her stomach. And she went from the bed to the bathroom though. And then after that, we had to calm down a bit. And then later on that night, we ended up walking to a bar that was a few minutes from the hotel room. And then after that, we was just having a little chit chat back and forth about why we was arguing. And then next thing I know, she on the phone with all of her side hoes. And then once we finally get back to the hotel, she turned all the lights off and gonna tell me don't say nothing. Then gonna be on the phone trying to call herself Flex and talking about she paid for the hotel with her own money and everything. And I'm just sitting down shaking my head, twisting my hair, and I'm like, Lord, why did I put myself back in this predicament? Then the next day, she we get up early and she asked me, do you want to stay in there? And I'm like, no, take me back home. Take me back home. So as we get on the road, come back home, she like, you really ruined my night yesterday. It was so much going on and you just had to ruin it. That just lets me know, even if you were to be doing a little sneak getaway, you don't even know how to have fun. So when we get back to her house finally, she finally gave me my phone back. I had to charge, and then I get messages blown up from my friend asking me, hey, you still coming? And didn't even know that my phone was dead. And then next thing I know, the girl tell me she needs to go over to her folks' house for a minute. So then as she goes, and I'm just sitting down contemplating about life, wondering, should I kill myself again or what? Next thing I know, my mom ended up texting me, telling me, hey, we coming to get you tonight. Don't even tell the girl we coming. So then I tried to squinch my eyes because I ain't think to put my glass on because I'm still high and intoxicated. I'm trying to call myself looking at her little driver's license, trying to put down the address. And then after that, some hours later, when they finally come, she give me a call and let me know, hey, where you at? We outside. And as I get ready to give them, then next thing I know, the girl, she coming all behind me like, hey, who's that coming and how they know where I live? And so as I walk out the door and I'm just not paying her no mind, she like, hello, I'm talking to you. And I'm looking for him to my mom like, where y'all at? I don't see y'all. And she like, where are you at? We at the location you send. And the girl snatches my phone. She like, this ain't even my address. My mom like, so why did you give us? I'm like, I ain't have my glasses on. Then the girl told, no, Mia's at the Walmart a few minutes from me. So then we get in the car and then she throw my phone down. Then I told her, don't ever throw my phone. She like, why would you not tell me? I told her you never would give me the address. So I had to do what I had to do. And so then that she zoomed to the Walmart. Next thing I know, I'm just sitting here shaking to myself like, what is they about to do? And then she looked at me, she like, girl, you gotta stop being scared to speak up for yourself and stop worrying about what other people say. You are grown. And so I'm to like, shut up, don't even talk to me. She like, I'm just saying though. So then when they finally pull up 25 minutes later, all of them get out the car, look like they ready to square up on her. Next thing I know, my mom tell me to get in the car and told the girl to come here. So then as the girl come to her, wherever she done told her, then my mom come back to the door knock and tell me, hey, she told me some things that you had said and did as well that you didn't even tell us. And then I admit to and told her, yeah, I did. So then everybody just looking all in despair. And then there that one, my aunts come and she like, come here. And then she asked me like, what was going on? Where was you? And why did you never call or let none of us know you was still with the girl? We didn't even know you was still even talking to. We didn't even know you was smoking and drinking and all this either. And then she was like, listen, you say you grown, right? Be grown and be able to own up to what you do. No more lies, no more secrets, and you better by now start finding you a job because now we ain't giving you no more money, especially your mom and my dad ain't giving you no more money. So after that, of course, I knew I couldn't say nothing to my mom once I got back in the car with her, but the next day, I'm just texting everybody in the group chat, apologizing and letting them know I'm sorry for lying to them and being off missing for 4 days, and they didn't know where I was. Then after that, about a few days later, my mom comes and pick me up, and I end up driving to my bank to get out that overdraft using the last bit of money the girl still had left in my account. And I just used the rest of it for my nephew baby shower to get him some stuff. Then after that, I was so in despair, but after having that long chat with my mom about a lot of stuff she even told me, made me realize I had to grow up and wake up right now. And the moral of the story too is, y'all, think for your own self. Don't allow nobody, not even family, to come between what you have going on. But it was all a part of God's plan because it landed me in the job I am in now. And it's going to be another testimony for my job. That's separate. But for this testimony with what I had going on back then, it was quite a journey, but the journey still ain't over yet. But yeah, make sure y'all don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Drop some comments in the chat and drop down any questions and concerns y'all have about everything I said. Let me know. I always love to hear feedback all the time. So please don't be afraid to share my testimonies. Learn something from my testimonies. And know that God wouldn't push you in the situation He knew He couldn't push you through. It took me a minute to get over it, but I got through it. And if I can, y'all can too. Stay blessed.